when I first got to the mission field, we had an incredible mission president, Richard Holtz-Offel. He teaches at BYU, actually, and he's just an incredible man with a wonderful testimony. And I remember when I first got there, he interviewed me, and I didn't think anything of it. I just, I was excited. First companion, the things I didn't know about. Like, I was in the MTC, and I'd ask my teacher, like, how do you keep an area book? What's that? Or how do I know what to do during the day? Or just questions about regular missionary life that they said, well, your trainer will teach you, and it'll be okay. And I was just excited for the experience. I had no idea what it was going to be like, what Alabama was going to be like. And my mission, we have transfer meetings, and every mission does it differently, but we have all the missionaries that are going to be transferred. They come to Birmingham, which is like where our mission home is, and they come to the church building, and they have a slideshow, and they'll put the new companionships pictures up together on the slideshow, and it'll have the area that they're going to serve. And when your picture comes up, you hug your old companion, and you go to meet your new companion and hug them and sit with them, and they're your new companion. And the elders do this really funny, when they hug, they'll hit each other on the back. It's like this big bro hug, and the sisters do a nice, like, they're crying usually, and they have like a soft little embrace. And I was there with all the new missionaries and just so nervous about, where am I going to go? And you're all giggling and excited. There's so many sisters, so a big amount of our mission was there, because if you have 30 missionaries there, then you have to have at least like 60 other companionships. I don't know. You have to have a lot of people affected every time new missionaries come in. And being a trainer is one of the most respected assignments in the mission, leadership assignments, because you're really expected to help that new missionary adjust to missionary life, and you have to be really trusted by the Lord and your mission president to be there to help them. And I was sitting there, and it went through a lot of the sisters in the mission, and I remember my picture came up, and I was like, oh, okay, that's me. And then it had another sister, and it had under both of our names, trainer. And I was really confused, and I looked over, and she was a sister from the MTC with me. And I looked over at her from down the pew, and we looked at each other, and we went over and hugged each other, and I was kind of giggling. I was like, this is weird. And it said we were going to Montgomery, Alabama. And I was so surprised. I had no idea what to think. And it was kind of all a blur. We went to Chick-fil-A. We talked with there was another companionship that was going to drive us to Montgomery. And I don't really remember. And we got there, and I found out, I realized that we were training each other. We didn't have a assigned trainer, and this is kind of like a rare case. It doesn't happen super often, but I knew that our mission president trusted us to do it, and the Lord trusted us to do it, and that it just kind of had to happen because there's so many new sisters. And being in Montgomery, it was so different than my comfortable place in Pleasant Grove, Utah, than I had ever expected. It was a city. There was tons of, I was a minority. I was not used to that. It was kind of sketchy in certain places. We're kind of near the slums, and people were so surprised that two white, well-dressed women from the West were walking around alone in places that normally they didn't. And I remember my first day really trying to proselyte. I had no idea what I was doing or how to talk to people, or there's no one to guide me except for God and working with my companion. And I remember our first experience, we walked up to a house, and the woman, she was about to get baptized on on the whiteboard. It said her name and where she lived. And we didn't even really know what a teaching record was. We just went to her house and found out they hadn't met with her for a while, and that we got there and she wasn't even there. And there's a man in these low-hanging pants that walked up, and he said something to me, and I couldn't even understand what he was saying. And he said, like, "You looking for her?" And he stuck his head in the window. He just moved the screen aside, and it was open, and he put his head inside and asked where she was. And her cousin came outside in a shower cap type hat, and I can't remember what they're called. It just like covers their hair. And she said that, "Yo, my cousin isn't here right now. It's okay. You can go." And we just were so shocked, like shell shocked. And I remember going home again and I guess the bathroom is my alone place, because it was one of the few places, and just kneeling down and asking God, if you want me to do this, you need to tell me again right now, because I literally don't know if I can. And again, it's just the Lord gives you little pieces of comfort as time goes on with what you need. And I just felt encouraged that we could do it at that time. And it was like, during those 6 weeks, it was one of the hardest things I ever did, even though I was with an incredible sister, and we like really grew to be good friends and love each other. But the nights and the days that it was the hardest, sometimes I think you just grow the most. Like, your character is strengthened, and you come to know that you can do hard things, and that God will help you. And you can't turn to your previous forms of comfort on a mission. You can't go sack out on your couch and watch a movie and spend 3 hours watching Netflix or on Facebook, or go hide out and nap or take a run just whenever you want to. It's not about you anymore. It's about you and God and the people you're coming to help. And just God helps you, even in the times when you feel completely overwhelmed. And like, I love that in the scriptures it talks about that, like, a mountain can be moved through faith, and faith in God and hard work. And I just came to know that I could do anything with him.